Hello students, welcome back, and this is Madhu Dharmapuri. We were discussing about Bohr's atomic model in the previous lecture, where we have discussed the postulates of Bohr atomic model, and we have calculated the radius of the orbit and velocity of the electron in the orbit and total energy of electron in the orbit using Bohr's postulates of atomic model. And these are the formulas we have got from that description. If you have not watched that video, do watch it so that you will understand what are these formulas written here. So here we continue with where we have stopped in the previous video lecture. Again, Bohr atomic model. So if you observe these equations, this is for the radius of the orbit, and this is the velocity of the electron in the orbit, and this is for total energy of the electron in the orbit in two forms. These are this, and this is kinetic energy of the electron in the moving electron in the orbit, and this is potential energy of the electron in the orbit. And if you observe these last three equations, we can write this: E equal to minus k and k equal to modulus of u by 2, because u has negative sign in it. Modulus of u by 2. These are very, very important. And now if you let us write one most important point using these expressions. As principal quantum number increases, principal quantum number n increases, what happens to these values? If you observe, some of the quantities will increase if n increases, and some of the quantities will decrease. We will see how. So which are increasing and which are decreasing, let us see. Okay. Now if n is increased, what happens to the radius of the orbit? R is proportional to n square. All others are constant, proportional to n square. So radius will increase. Radius of orbit will increase as n increases. Now if you see, velocity Vn is proportional to z by n. Others are constants. Proportional to z by n, inversely proportional to n, and velocity should decrease. Velocity should decrease of electron as n increases. Right, remember this. Now what happens to the total energy? Total energy is again proportional to z square by n square, but with a negative sign. With a negative sign, you can say. As n increases, total energy will increase because of that negative sign. Total energy will increase. Total energy will increase. Then what happens to the kinetic energy of the electron? You can see this expression. These are all constants. Rn, it is depending on Rn, radius of the orbit. If n increases, radius is increasing. If n increases, radius is increasing. Then kinetic energy should decrease because Rn is the radius of the orbit, which is in the denominator, and it is increasing with respect to n. If n increases, then K must decrease. The potential energy, kinetic energy must decrease. Of electron should decrease because Rn value will increase and K value will decrease with n increase. And what about potential energy? Here also it is inversely proportional to the radius, but there is a negative sign here. And because of that negative sign, potential energy will increase with increase in n value, because with increase in n value, radius will increase, and because of the negative sign in the formula of potential energy, it will also increase. Potential energy of electron, this total energy of electron, 1, 2, 3, here 1, 2, right? And there is one more important thing which we can write using these formulas. We know that the angular momentum of electron is nh by 2 pi, which is again depending on the n value proportional to n. Angular momentum also should increase with increase in n. Angular momentum should also increase, right? Angular momentum of electron. And next thing which we can observe here is, this is very, very important, and you have to imagine this. What is happening if n is increasing? Radius of the orbit is increasing. If n is increasing, for example, this is ZE, this is R, n, electron is revolving around nucleus in nth orbit, whose radius is Rn. If n is increased, Rn value is also increased. If Rn value increased means what? The radius of the orbit is large now. If radius of the orbit is large, electron will take lot of time to complete one revolution around the nucleus. Electron will take more time to complete one complete revolution around the nucleus. If Rn is more, if radius is more, then it completes one revolution in larger time. But if radius is very, very small, then electron can complete one revolution in less time, which means time period I am talking about. What is time period? It is the time taken for one complete revolution around the nucleus. And if radius of the orbit is more, then time period will obviously be more. And if n increases, radius increases, then time period should also increase. It takes more time to complete the revolution, one revolution around the nucleus. Time period. And if time period increases with n, then obviously frequency should decrease, because f is equal to 1 by t. They are inversely proportional. Okay, so the next possibility we can write in the case of decreasing quantity is angular speed of the electron. What is angular speed of the electron? Omega equal to V by R. In general, we have V equal to R omega. Now, if you observe this formula, with respect to n increase, velocity is decreasing, that is numerator is decreasing, and radius is increasing, that is denominator is increasing. As n increased, V decreased or increased. V decreased or increased. Which means the angular speed of the electron should decrease with increase in n. These points are very, very important for the entrance exam, which are frequently asked from Bohr's atomic model. Okay, so now we will see how this Bohr's atomic model is applicable to hydrogen atom, and then we will see the spectral series of hydrogen atom. Basically, Bohr's atomic model is applicable for hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. Hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. We will see the hydrogen atom spectrum first. Then we will see how this can be applied to the hydrogen-like atoms. What are the hydrogen-like atoms and how this is applied to it. Okay. So Bohr's interpretation of spectrum of hydrogen atom. Bohr's interpretation of spectrum of hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom. When do we get spectrum? Basically, whenever an electron jumps from one orbit to the other orbit, then we get a spectral line. The energy is emitted or released, absorbed in the form of photon, whose energy is h nu, which will be equal to the difference between the energy gap or energies of those orbits. The spectral line is possible only when electron transition is there. What is transition? Jumping of electron from one orbit to another orbit. Then only energy is absorbed or released. Okay, so now we will see if electron jumps from n2 orbit with energy En2 to n1 orbit with energy En1, and let En2 is greater than En1 or N2 greater than N1. And remember, we are dealing with hydrogen atom. So for hydrogen atom, Z equal to 1. Proton number, say one electron atom, 1 proton, Z equal to 1. Okay. So let us write first what is En1. According to this formula, what is En1? we can write minus m z square e power 4 by 8 h square epsilon naught square n1 square. And En2 will be minus mz square e power 4 by 8 h square epsilon naught square n2 square. Okay, so En2 minus En1 is how much? This minus this. So I am substituting z equal to 1 so that I can take out z from the expression. So a minus m e power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square 8 h square epsilon naught square n2 square, minus of minus it will be plus m e power 4 by 8 h square epsilon naught square n1 square. Z equal to 1 is substituted here. Okay, so what is common here? I can take m e power 4 by 8 h square epsilon naught square common, and we will get 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square, which is equal to En2 minus En1. This is the energy difference between two orbits, N2 and N1. Between N2 and N1 orbits. And if electron jumps from N2 orbit to N1 orbit, what is the frequency of the transition or energy? It will be equal to, the photon energy will be equal to this En2 minus En1. This is the energy released because it is coming from higher orbit to the lower orbit. In the form of photon energy it is released, and nu I can write En2 minus En1 by h, which means nu can be written as this by h. So m e power 4 by 8 h cube epsilon naught square into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square by this by h. Okay. Then nu by c will be what? Nu by c. What is nu here? Nu is frequency of the photon. We say the frequency of that spectral line resulted from transition of electron from N2 orbit to N1 orbit. Okay, so nu by c will be m e power 4 by 8 c h cube epsilon naught square into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. This by c. And nu by c is nothing but 1 by lambda, because nu equal to c by lambda, which is considered as nu bar. What is nu bar? It is wave number. This will be equal to m e power 4 8c h cube epsilon naught square into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. What is wave number? It is the number of waves in unit length. It represents the number of waves in unit length. What is wave here? It is a spectral line the frequency of the photon which has some wavelength and frequency. Okay, so this can be written as nu bar equal to R into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square, where R equal to me power 4 by 8ch cube epsilon naught square. This constant, all are constant, you can see. M, mass of the electron, electron charge, velocity of the light in air or vacuum, that is C. H is Planck's constant, epsilon naught is the electric permittivity. If you substitute all those values, you will get R as 1.091 into 10 to the power of 7 meter inverse. What is this R? This R is Rydberg constant. This is very, very important. R is called Rydberg constant. And you have to remember this value. Okay? And based on this formula, inverse of wavelength or wave number, we can have, depending on the transition of electron between which orbit to which orbit, we have some possible spectral series of hydrogen atom. So we will see that now. Possible spectral series of hydrogen atom. Spectral series of hydrogen atom, Z equal to 1. Okay, so the first spectral series is Lyman series. What is Lyman series? If electron jumps from N2 equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, so on, to N1 equal to 1, then we get the Lyman series. And from this formula I can write 1 by lambda equal to R into 1 minus N1 is 1 by N2 square, and N2 is either 2, 3, 4, anything. If N2 equal to 1, if N2 equal to 2 and N1 is equal to 1, obviously, then the line is called first line in Lyman series. First line in Lyman series. And if N2 equal to infinity and N1 equal to 1, means the last orbit, this is called last line. This is also called as series limit. Last line or series limit of the Lyman series. So based on the value of N2, R is anyway, it is a constant. we can get the first line and last line wavelength from here. That is Lyman series. Remember, this is important. From which orbit to which orbit it is coming. Okay? And the second one is Balmer series. What is this? Balmer series. What happens here? If electron jumps from N2 equal to 3, 4, 5, so on, to N1 equal to 2. Second orbit. The electron is coming to second orbit from higher orbit. Then 1 by lambda equal to R into 1 by 2 square, which is 1 by 4 minus 1 by N2 square, where N2 here is 3, 4, 5, so on, etc. And similarly here, if N2 equal to 3 and N1 equal to 2, it is first line. And if N2 equal to infinity and N1 equal to 2, this is called as series limit or last line. And most important points to be noted here is, we have some particular names allotted to the lines. The first line here is called as H alpha line. For H alpha line, N2 equal to 3, N1 equal to 2, which is the first line of Balmer series. And H beta line, N2 equal to 4, N1 equal to 2, which is second line. H gamma line, N2 equal to 5 and N1 equal to 2, which is third line in the Balmer series, etc., etc. These are very, very important, particularly these three. What is H alpha line? What is the frequency of it? What is the wavelength of it? This kind of questions you can expect in the exam. How to find out H alpha line wavelength? If you substitute N2 equal to 3, N1 equal to 2, then it is easy to write 1 by lambda, inverse of it is lambda. So for everything you have to remember this formula and this value. Okay, so then third spectral series is, the third spectral series is Paschen series. Paschen series. So if electron jumps from N2 equal to 4, 5, 6, so on, to N1 equal to 3, the third orbit, then we can get from this formula R into 1 by 9 minus 1 by N2 square, where N2 equal to 4, 5, 6, so on, and N2 4, N1 equal to 3 is first line, and N2 equal to infinity, N1 equal to 3 is series limit, last line. So in every case you can have this. Okay, so the next case is fourth one, bracket series. So what is bracket series? If electron jumps from n2 equal to 5, 6, 7 so on, and n1 should be 4. Fourth orbit. Electron is coming to the fourth orbit from higher orbits. And 1 by lambda will be like r equal to 1 by 16 minus 1 by n2 square, where n2 is 5, 6, 7 so on, and n2 equal to 5, n1 equal to 4 is first line, and n2 equal to infinity, n1 equal to 4 is last line. I forgot to tell you, Lyman series lies in ultraviolet region in the electromagnetic radiation spectrum. Lyman series lies in ultraviolet region. Balmer series lies in visible region. I forgot to tell you that. Lyman series UV region and Balmer series lies in visible region in the electromagnetic radiation spectrum. Because Balmer series is lying in visible region, that is very, very important. It can be visible. It's a visible light. That is why we are concentrating on H alpha line, H beta line, H gamma line, etc. in the case of Balmer. You have to remember this also. Which spectrum is lying in which region of electromagnetic radiation spectrum? Which line is lying? So ultraviolet visible, and partial it lies in near infrared. And bracket series lies in infrared region. Okay. Now we will see the next spectral series of hydrogen atom, which is Fund series. What is it? Fifth one, Fund series. If electron jumps from n2 equal to 6, 7, 8 so on to n1 equal to 5, we get this series, and 1 by lambda equal to r into 1 by n1 square, here is 25 minus 1 by n2 square, where n2 equal to 6, 7, 8 so on, and if n2 equal to 6, n1 equal to 5, it is first line, and n2 equal to infinity, n1 equal to 5, it is last line, that is series limit. And this series lies in far infrared region in the electromagnetic radiation spectrum. Far infrared region. You just have to remember the spectral series type and when do we get that kind of spectral series. And in each case, first line and last line, and in which region the spectral series is lying, in which region of electromagnetic radiation spectrum. And particularly Balmer series is very, very important. H alpha, H beta, H gamma lines, because it lies in visible region of electromagnetic radiation spectrum. And based on the information that we have discussed till now, and with the expression of energy formula of electron in the orbit, let us have energy level diagram. Okay. First, using this series, how we can write or draw the energy level diagram. You can say orbit diagram in circular orbits. It will be, for example, this. Imagine they are circular orbits of an atom. Here the nucleus is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. N equal to. Okay? The principal quantum number n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, n equal to 5, n equal to 6, n equal to 7. Okay, so what is Lyman series now? You can also label like K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. The orbits according to Bohr with respect to principal quantum number. Then how do we get this spectral series? If the electron is coming to first orbit from higher orbits, that is you can take this as this is Lyman. And if electron is coming to n equal to 2, that is second orbit from their higher orbits, then you can have like this. These are the possible transitions, and this is Balmer. And the third possibility is Paschen, the third orbit, the electron is coming. This is Paschen. This is n equal to 3. And fourth possibility is this. This is bracket series. And fifth possibility is it has to come to n equal to 5 from its higher orbits, the fifth orbit. So this is fund. This is how we represent the orbit diagram with their energies, the spectral series of hydrogen atom. See here, the electron is having a transition to the first orbit from their higher orbits, Lyman series. Electron is having transition to second orbit from higher orbits, is Balmer series. Electron transition is between third orbit and higher orbits, Paschen series. Electron transition is between fourth orbit and higher orbits, bracket series. And electron transition is between fifth orbit and higher orbits, is Fund series. This is how we draw the diagram for the spectral series of hydrogen atom. And using the expression of energy, that is En. What is the expression of energy En? En is minus me power 4 z square by 8 epsilon naught square n square h square is the general formula, and for hydrogen atom Z equal to 1 and En is minus me power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square h square n square. Using this expression also for hydrogen atom we can write or we can draw the energy level diagram that we will see now. This also can be written as En as minus 13.6 by n square electron volt for hydrogen, because all are constants, which means E1 is minus 13.6 electron volt, E2 is minus 13.6 by 4 has how much? 3.4. Four electron volt, 13.6 by 4, and E3 will be minus 13.6 by 9. You can say it as minus 13.6 by 9 is minus 1.54 electron volt, and E4 will be 0.85 electron volt, and E5 will be like this by 25, minus 13.6 by 25, maybe minus point, I can't remember it, minus 13.6 by 25 electron volt you can say. Okay, so using this we can have an energy level diagram. Take this as n equal to 1 with E1 as minus 13.6 electron volt and E2 minus 3.4 electron volt. N equal to 2, n equal to 3 minus 1.54, E2. And then E4 minus 0.85, and n equal to 5, E5 has minus 13.6 by 25. Okay, it will be around 0.5 you can say, I think 13.6 by 25 you can say if you write it. 25 5 is 125, so minus 0.5 and 11 is there, 0.54 you can say, 0.54 electron volt, 0.54 electron volt. You have to remember these actually for the examination. Okay, this and this same. Okay, so similarly we will have some other orbit with n equal to 6 and with different energy, and n equal to 7 with different energy. Like that you will have E infinity also, n equal to infinity. And the Lyman series will be this or this, 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 this and this. This is Lyman series. And Balmer series will be this electron transition is to second energy level. This is Balmer. And Paschen, this is Paschen. And bracket, this it is bracket. And fund will be to the 5th orbit. This is fund. This is how we represent. Now if you observe the lines that I have drawn, the initial energy levels are more spacious as you go away from the center of the nucleus. As n increases, the energy levels are crowded. They are very close to each other. The energy is increased as you increase the n value. But if you observe, they are crowded. They are very close to each other. The spacing between two consecutive energy levels is very small between higher energy levels. If you observe this, for example, the energy gap is more, around 9. So this is 9, for example. And if you observe these two, the energy gap is just around 2. So that is less than this. Now if you observe these two, the energy gap is around 0.6. Again it is decreased. And if you observe these, the energy gap is around 0.3. Again less than this. So like that, the space between two consecutive energy levels will get decreased, and they will become crowded at higher levels. This is very, very important. And normally the first state of any atom, the first energy state, is called as normal energy state or ground state. Electron always wants to stay in the ground state. It's the most stable state. Even if you excite that electron to the higher orbit by giving some external energy, it can stay there only for a small amount of time, around 10⁻⁸ seconds, and it will immediately come back to its normal state or ground state. So this is the most stable state. In every atom, ground state is the most stable state. Okay, so you should remember this. And based on this knowledge, one important point that we can write is, if electron jumps from N2 to N1 with N2 greater than N1, the possible emission lines are equal to N2 minus N1 into N2 minus N1 plus 1 by 2. This is very, very important. Which means, for example, consider N2 equal to some 4 and N1 equal to some 1. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now, if N2 is 4 and N1 is 1, what do you get here for this formula? 4 minus 1 into 4 minus 1 plus 1 by 2, which means 3 into 4 by 2, which means 6 emission lines are possible. How? N1 is 1, so this is possible, that is 1, and this is possible, that is 2, and this is possible, that is 3, and other possibilities are 3 to 2 is possible, 4 to 3 is also possible, and 4 to 2 is also possible. So this is how we write this number. The maximum possible emission lines will be this. N2 minus N1 into N2 minus N1 plus 1 by 2. I can say if not electron jumps from N2 to N1, if electron between N2 and N1, between N2 and N1, if N2 is greater than N1, the possible emission lines are equal to this. The possible emission lines are equal to this. This is very, very important. Now we will see how this Bohr atomic model is applicable to hydrogen-like atoms. Hydrogen-like atoms. What are hydrogen-like atoms? For hydrogen, Z equal to 1. And hydrogen-like atoms means helium plus, that is singly ionized helium atom with 1 electron. So the next one, lithium plus plus, that is doubly ionized lithium atom, again with 1 electron, which means that Bohr atomic model is applicable to the atoms of 1 electron. If that atom is containing 1 electron like hydrogen atom, then Bohr atomic model is applicable. So helium plus 1 electron with singly ionized helium plus, lithium plus plus doubly ionized 1 electron. And if that Bohr atomic model is applicable to these two, for example, for helium plus plus, even though it has 1 electron, but proton number Z equal to 2. Okay, and for lithium plus plus, even though it has 1 electron, proton number Z equal to 3, which means when you are writing the energy values or radius of the orbit values for these, what you have to remember, you should not neglect this Z square in the formula, because everything is same for helium plus, hydrogen, helium plus and lithium plus plus, except Z. So what you have to substitute for Z, if it is helium plus, Z will be 2. So that is why you have to remember the general formula, so that if it is for hydrogen, Z will be 1. If it is for helium plus, Z equal to 2. If it is lithium plus plus, Z equal to 3, etc. Bohr atomic model is applicable to hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. And hydrogen-like atoms will not have the same Z as hydrogen atom, because proton number will be different, and according to the proton number the charge of the nucleus will increase. For example, if it is hydrogen, it is Ze, that is 1e. For helium plus, it is Ze, that is 2e. For lithium plus Ze, it is 3e. So 3 times the hydrogen atom, the nucleus charge. The positive charge is increasing, and hence the energy values will change according to the value of Z. That is why you have to remember the formula for Rn, formula for Vn, formula for En, so that how they are depending on Z and N value. If N increases, what happens? If Z increases, what happens? That we can analyze it. So this is how the Bohr atomic model could explain the spectral series of hydrogen atom and hydrogen-like atoms.